You are now tuned into the Anxious Ambition podcast, where you'll be hearing raw and unfiltered conversations with those who struggle with mental illness but refuse to let that get in the way of them achieving their dreams. Our hope is that by hearing their stories, you are inspired to do more. Here are their stories.
Anxious Ambition.
I'm your host, Justin Allen, and today we have a special guest. She's the founder of Deserving Beads, where she creates beaded jewelry with a purpose. She was in a place of high anxiety and found that beading and crafting really helped her find some peace in her life. So today we have on Caitlin McMinn. Welcome to the show, Caitlin.
Hi, Justin. Thanks.
How are you?
I'm very excited to be here.
We're happy to have you here. Can you tell everyone more, like, what is Deserving Beads? Just for everyone at home.
Absolutely. Yeah. So Deserving Beads is really, I echo your comments on it. It is a beaded company. We make bracelets, one of which I'm actually wearing that will kind of highlight for you as well. So this cool. is one made especially for Anxious Ambition. But yeah, it's really just a company that came from having some very deep-seated anxiety, and I just needed an outlet. And I really didn't have I also have some depression. So the gym and things like that, it just wasn't working for me. I didn't want to get out. And so it's something that I started to do in my apartment in Austin. And it just kind of formed into, I had friends that started asking me to make stuff for them. And so then I decided to dedicate the entire page to people that helped me through my anxiety. Yeah. And so each piece is named after somebody, and we donate to a number of different causes. And yeah,
it's incredible. If you haven't already, obviously go check out your website. What is it? Just deservingbeads.com?
It is.
Okay, perfect. Like, I've obviously looked through there. I'm excited to get my bracelet. It's super excited about it. Like, you look through there, and every design almost has like a name or a specific purpose behind it. And it's more than just, art or jewelry. Like, oh, this is pretty. Like, it's pretty or beautiful, but it also has this strong purpose behind it. So, which is kind of aligns with what we're doing, where, like, we make clothes, and it's kind of like that conversation starter. If someone sees those bracelets, it's like, and it's not just like, okay, this is a black beaded bracelet. It's like, it's got colors and different materials and textures, and it's just like a nice watch or something. It's going to start that conversation. And more than likely, like, everyone is struggling with something, and it's like, it just starts that conversation, like, oh shit, I'm not the only one dealing with this or that. You know what I mean? So I want to commend you on that. I think it's the art. It's so, like, you can just tell it's not like cookie cutter beaded bracelets. Because it's not like you're not reinventing the wheel, right? But it's something with a strong purpose. There's a message behind it, and when you're wearing it, I'm sure it's kind of going to inspire you to maybe keep pushing. Can you tell us? So when did you start? It's been actually, we kind of started, I think, around the same time. I think, like, what
we did.
Yeah,
yes,
it's like right around.
Gosh, has it been a couple
2019? Like,
okay. So yeah,
I think our Instagram pages started like literally the same week. Like, I look back, it was like September or something of 2019. What made you start? Like, what was, like, you didn't just, what got you to start making the beaded bracelets?
Yeah. So it was a long road. I had been suffering from anxiety. It just kind of, I never really had a whole lot of it growing up. And it just kind of hit me like a wave. About a year prior to when I started Deserving Beads. And over that year, I was always somebody that I could take a nap at any time. I could sleep for 9 to 10 hours a night and not have any issues. And all of a sudden I was sleeping 2 to 3 hours, and I wasn't eating. And I've always had a great appetite, and
something felt wrong.
Yeah, it felt off, and I felt this skin crawling type, that the opposite of content, which was something that was so brand new for me. I couldn't sit still anymore. I couldn't just chill and watch TV. I couldn't relax. And really where I ended up seeing it is I lost 16 pounds in 2 months.
Wow.
And really, none of your clothes are fitting and all that kind of stuff. And I was just like, man, I didn't realize that it was this bad.
Yeah.
So, fast forward to about the fall. And I was really looking for something to do with my hands that involved, something I could do alone. And a friend actually started their own beading company due to the same reasons.
Wow.
And I just thought, that sounds like a ton of fun. I'm just going to try it out. And, and then it became each piece was specifically angled for a specific person and their traits. And, just making it to where I remember something that they helped me through during that time of anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
And so now every time I wear the piece by a specific person, I remember going back to that and really appreciating. That's a huge part of this journey, has been to voice my appreciation and to ask for help.
Did you ask for help? Like, like when you were first kind of dealing with the anxiety starts creeping in, you realize like something just feels, like you said, off. Like I said wrong, but you definitely worded it the perfect way, because you just feel something just feels off. And it's not like just for a day, right? It happens maybe weeks turned into months, and it's like, okay, something's off. What could it be? Did you just try to deal with it yourself, which most people do at first, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I would say for a year.
Yeah.
I just, every day I kept going. I'm like, oh, it's okay. I'll shake it off. I'll do this.
Mm-hmm.
I'll get over the hump. And then, it turns into a year and you're like, I clearly what I'm doing is not working.
Yeah.
And so it did. It started, for me to go back to therapy and to really voice to friends like, hey, I'm just not feeling right.
Mm-hmm.
And just voicing some of that. And then eventually it led to, what, I think I need some help. So Prozac is a hell of a drug,
I said I wouldn't talk about what drug I take, but yeah, that may or may not be what I also take. Yeah, I take Prozac as well. And I'm gonna reiterate this too, like just because you said it, trying medications is a game, unfortunately. Like, I don't know if you tried other ones, but I mean, I've tried, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 different kinds. Some have worked, some have not, some are. And typically, like I do agree, like Prozac has worked really well for me. But if you're listening at home, well, Prozac in general is like, it's like the oldest antidepressant. So people are drawn to it. But like, if you try it, it doesn't work. You try another one. Like, it's every antidepressant is different. Every anti-anxiety drug is different. Like, we're all different. And that's why, like, I don't promote any specific one, but just know like there are something out there. Like Zoloft, I liked. Some other ones I didn't like. There was ones that was like, hey, this one, like I talked to a buddy, and it's like, this one's perfect. And I, instantly felt like shit. And it's like, you need to try stuff and be okay with that.
No,
you got lucky, right? Because it was your first one. No?
Yeah. So I've
Okay.
been doing, so I had actually taken Zoloft years prior.
Okay.
After witnessing my mother commit suicide and going down that road, I was prescribed immediately Zoloft. And, I remember, I think I gained like 40 pounds. I mean, I was just eating my feelings left and right. And which for somebody who's already depressed, gaining weight is not a great thing on top of it. And I suppressed a lot of feelings. I just took the medication. I just, well, whatever, this is what the doctor told me to take.
Right.
And it took me a really long time of kind of trial and error, but also to understand that it's okay to feel depressed when your mother has passed away. Like,
right.
That obviously is something that we're so quick in this society to just cover it up. It's uncomfortable. Let's just put a shade over it and we won't deal with it. And that's really, one of the biggest things about deserving beads and anxious ambition that
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
I love
Well,
is
thank you.
it's taking off that shade, and it's just
Thank you.
saying like, no, fuck that.
Mhm.
It's okay to be anxious when you're in an uncomfortable position.
Absolutely.
It's okay to be depressed when you lose someone you love. Like, it's okay to be depressed if you lose a job.
Yeah.
I mean, those dealing with grief and loss, they affect everybody differently. Much like the medications that you
Absolutely.
mentioned. I've tried herbal, I've tried,
Yeah.
different remedies, and you're absolutely right. Everybody is different. Every single
Mhm.
body is different. Hormones, what
Oh,
have you.
yeah.
It's crazy.
Just everything's like a little bit like a little tool. Like
Yep.
I've talked about in other podcasts. It's like, okay, you have your Prozac, you've got your beading, you've got some other practices, like all these things combine to help you get through. And when I say get through, like you're just making it easier on yourself, willing to deal with it. One thing, I mean, honestly, I know I'm supposed to be interviewing you, but I want to talk about something about the depression part.
Yeah.
So honestly, like even so for me, okay, like my depression is kind of cyclical. So it's like um this past like 2-3 weeks, like I've been like, honestly, my depression's been pretty bad. Feel off, definitely less motivated, things like that. And like even today, I kind of had these thoughts. It was like, okay, do I need to up my medication just because I'm depressed? Or is this, and I started thinking about it, and I'm just depressed. Like, I mean, not even just depressed, like I'm just overwhelmed. Like work is super overwhelming right now. There's a lot of stress going on. Like there's so many factors. And I'm sitting, you think about it, it's like, okay, if I up my dose, none of that shit's going to change. Like, it's
Yeah.
not like,
It doesn't go away.
yeah. So now I'm just not going to care about it. And then I'm really fucked, like it's so like, we're not doctors, but like, it's just like, don't just go like jump to that stuff. Like you can't, like these antidepressants, things like that are definitely tools. But if you feel like just completely numb to the world and you can't do anything, like maybe it is too much. Right. So like I do a pretty low dose. But like, and that's the thing, like that's not just going to fix the problem. It's not going to numb me out. Like the fact that your doctor, and it's common, like traumatic event happens, boom, just take this right now, just take it. And maybe, I mean, you could have just, I mean, who knows how you're going to grieve? Like it may not let you grieve as much as you want to. When my grandfather passed away last year, in all honesty, like it was hard for me to get emotional about it because of, the antidepressants. So there are some downfalls, right? So I could completely understand where you're coming from with that.
Well, it's a balance, right?
Yeah,
I
100%.
mean, it's also a huge part of dealing with mental illness that we as just a culture don't really embrace enough is A, awareness, but B, education.
Mhm.
It's not just, to your point, it is not just masking it with something. Like, learn how your body reacts to things. Read about different side effects, read about different signs, different ways to cope.
Mhm.
Life is relentless and it's not going anywhere.
Absolutely right.
And those meditation works great for me. It
Mhm.
doesn't work for everybody.
Right.
But those things, you also have to be relentless in your self-care, because the minute I stop meditating for a week, that weekend I am just full on panic attacks, just can't do anything.
Mhm.
And it just sucks. And so it is definitely a balancing act of everything.
It's so true. And like even what you just brought up, like the meditation thing, like whether it's eating healthier or meditation or exercise, it's taking that week, like the week off. That's where it gets you, right? So it's like not like if you skip a workout or you eat shitty one day, like that's not going to do it. But it's that week, a week, 2 weeks off, and then you start feeling it, and then you don't really realize what's wrong because it's not as acute as like, okay, you eat a cheeseburger and then you're depressed that day. Like you're not, like,
Absolutely.
So like, that's like when I'm in the reflection, the meditation allows you to reflect and be like, okay, what's different? What am I doing different? Like for me, it was like, okay, maybe I instantly had the thoughts like, okay, Prozac's not working anymore. Let's go do more Prozac. And it's like, okay, pump the brakes, think about it. Like what you're going through right now is stressful. Like that's okay.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So the self-reflection and the self-care go hand in hand in my eyes.
Absolutely.
Obviously we all need help from people, but we know ourselves more than anybody. And
Yes.
yeah, more than we'd
Yeah.
like to admit sometimes, probably. It's just like think, meditate, whatever you want to call it, but like just, we can do a lot for ourselves.
I love the holistic approach
Yeah,
to
right. It is holistic.
self-care. Yeah,
Mhm.
it is. There is no quick fix. Like as
No.
much as I would love to say that there isn't. I told myself, and this is actually a quote from one of Brene Brown's, I think she did like a Netflix special
Mhm.
of, she had 6 weeks to go to therapy. Fast forward 8 years later. Like, and it's the exact same for me. Like
Sure.
you go in thinking, like 2 to 3 sessions will be good. We'll work this out. And, fast forward a decade later,
Exactly.
and you're like, turns out I still need this to keep moving every day and, doing all that kind of stuff.
It's a forever thing. I mean, that's,
yes.
And I think that's something too, like this, like the message behind this podcast and the brand in general is like anxiety, depression, all that stuff is going to be a part of your life if you're suffering from it. Like it just is. I'm sorry, but it's finding ways to manage it and finding ways to still pursue what you're trying to pursue. Like I said, this morning I cried for the first time in like, it felt like a year. Cause if you're on antidepressants, some people have a hard time crying, things like that. So for me to be crying, I was like, okay, something's wrong. But like, I knew that I still had to record the podcast today because I made a commitment to it. I still had to go to work that day because I knew that it's aligned with my goals. And it's not easy at all. But what I'm saying is that you still need to always have that in the back of your mind because those feelings you're having can't always dictate, what your actions are. Right.
For
It's
sure.
like right now I feel so much, you feel so much better when you actually do the things. If I just sat on my ass, you have to stay committed. And like with you, I mean, you've been through a lot, you're dealing with a lot of anxiety, but you're still running your business and it coincides with what you're going through. So it has that, balancing. As far, you mentioned going back to therapy. So you've been to therapy before, like.
Yeah. So let's see. So my mom passed away in 2010.
Okay.
I spent the next couple of years just partying my ass off and not having any feelings.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And then, of course, it comes to a head.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it was some of the depression that you talked about. I, for the first time, was sitting in my room. It was dark. And I thought to myself, I understand why my mom could be so depressed to take her own life.
Oh.
I get that.
Yeah.
And that shook me to my core. Like just having that realization and thought. And I was like, oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
Like that. Yeah. It still gives me goosebumps.
Yeah. I can only imagine. Did your mom suffer from mental illness?
Yeah, she did. She, it was an odd thing too. She was an alcoholic, but only in my 20s. So it wasn't like I grew up with an alcoholic.
Okay.
But she was also on Xanax and hydrocodone and all these other things that doctors were prescribing that was just this insane cocktail that she just wasn't her. I mean, she was gone. The woman that raised me and that I grew up with, it was nowhere to be found.
Wow.
So, that also hindered me for a decade about getting on medication.
Oh yeah, I could only imagine
why
you'd be scared of it.
Against it. Yeah, I was so against it because I had seen firsthand what it did. And, it took a really good therapist and a really good doctor to finally just tell me, like, let's just try it.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you don't like it, if you feel weird, give it a couple weeks. After that, we'll find something else.
Mm-hmm.
And for the first time in quite a few I mean, really that year right
Mhm.
before it, but you know, I was like, man, so ooh, okay, this is what content feels like. This is
Yeah.
what relaxed feels like. It just ever so slightly takes that edge off.
Hmm.
So yeah, that was a really big help. And then again, of course, going back to therapy, and I still see my therapist.
Is it the same therapist?
It is.
Really?
It is.
Nice.
Yeah, she's
You got lucky
fantastic.
that, yeah, you got lucky. Yeah. Found
Yeah,
a good
yeah,
therapist. Yeah.
I definitely did. I remember kind of interviewing people shortly after um, my mom had passed away, and you know, it just doesn't feel right with some people. It's
Yeah.
just not an open conversation. And you know, and then I found her because a friend referred her.
Perfect.
Oh God, and it's like talking to your really insightful mother, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. Yeah.
like,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
and
It's
it
like
just,
your cool aunt that like understands, and
yes,
you could tell all your,
yes,
because you like, can't always tell your parents everything. And yeah.
right. The cool
Yeah.
aunt that doesn't judge. Like you
Yeah.
could go in and
Was
say the really fucked
sneaking
up
your
things that
beers
are
when you were
happening.
young. Yeah. That one.
Yes,
Yeah. That
yes.
one.
Yep, yep. So yeah, it was definitely a blessing there. And I mean, you know, as she likes to say, like, yeah, I did the work, but you know, she helped me. Like,
Mhm.
and that's all some people need. They just need someone else to help them.
Yeah. Just a little guidance, even. I mean, even
Absolutely.
people like us, like me, like we're not, and we don't claim to be like doctors or professionals in this space, but learn from our experiences. Even if you're like one step ahead of someone else, you can still help guide them. Even just saying like, hey, this is what worked for me. Try
Yeah,
it. If it doesn't work
absolutely.
for you, like I can give you a list of the hundreds of things that didn't work for me. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Like it's just trying it, being relentless, and not just, not giving up. And that's just a message that we really want to push. Just giving up is, but like you said, like when you were depressed, you understood it, and
and I know
it's
that
sad. And yeah.
not everybody gets that lucky, and
Right.
like that, you know, I try to put myself in a lot of other people's shoes
Hmm.
for that as well. But so much of managing my anxiety became really this like mentorship aspect. It became that giving back. It became like really helping people also get through it.
Hmm.
And fully understanding that it's okay not to be okay. Like, you don't have
Exactly.
to be perfect. You don't have to be happy all the time.
Mm-mm.
You know, life sucks
Yeah.
sometimes. Like
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
just does. But
Exactly.
you know, just understanding that one day it won't suck anymore is really,
Sure.
really helpful.
Yeah. It's when those days turn into weeks, like we said earlier. It's like, okay,
Yes.
this is something serious, right?
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
seek that help. So, if you're at home and maybe you don't have, like, maybe you're just not sad, or there's different levels to depression. I talked about this with another one of my guests, Dana, and she was describing like how she felt. And it's like, you don't have to fit in that mold of depression or the mold of anxiety. Like there's just so many different factors. You might you might just lose your appetite, and maybe that's all, that might be the root
Yep.
of it. There's so many different things. And finding a doctor or a therapist or a holistic doctor, someone you can talk to that isn't just going to instantly give you a pill and actually
Yes.
talk you through it. I mean, even if you get on medication, there's nothing wrong with it, but like understand why you're taking it.
Right.
Understand, like, okay, like for me, like I've gone on and off medicine in the past, and with help, don't just stop taking your meds. But like I've gotten to the point in my life where it's like, okay, I probably need to take this for the rest of my life or some form of it,
Mhm.
because even if when I put in all the work, I feel like I've exhausted all my options, that like, okay, I need to have some extra serotonin stored in my brain. Like that's just how it is.
Yes.
Whether it is something deeply rooted, or whether it's, just in my brain or nature, it's, you
And it
got to
well, and
accept, it's
it's
accepting it.
yeah, and you've got to also understand that your body changes.
Oh yeah.
That I think was a huge thing for me to understand, was like what worked for me 5 years ago doesn't work for me today.
Mm-hmm.
You know, alcohol,
Yeah. I was
going out
about
and
to say,
partying with
yep.
my friends does not work anymore. I get the worst anxiety when I'm
Mhm.
hungover.
Oh yeah.
You know, and just like carb loading, like that used to work for me. Now I have a gluten allergy. Like,
Yeah.
so like there's just, you know, all these things change all the time. And the only way that we can figure out the key is really to understand ourselves.
Of course. What other, besides beading and I guess meditation, what other like self-care things do you like to do for your anxiety, depression, just in general? What helps you?
Yeah. Yeah. Really, I mean, exercise, yoga. Honestly, I mean, I know a lot of people, you know, everybody kind of has their own niche of reading a book or listening to a podcast, or I just love watching TV. Like just
Cool.
just getting into a show and not having to worry about anything in my life for a couple hours.
Yeah.
You know, and really just hanging out with friends. You know, crafting has become a really big one. And
Okay.
I definitely notice when the worst is when I get a little shaky and I can't focus and I realize everything I'm doing is like 25 to 50%.
Yeah.
And I just have to like take that moment, like, you know what? You need to concentrate on one thing with your hands. And so I'll go and like make a bracelet.
Sure.
Or, you know, do something, and it kind of serves as that meditation.
Do you feel like that grounds you? Like gets
absolutely.
you more?
Yeah, absolutely. And it just, you know, anything like that forces you. Like my boyfriend, he's got, or I'm sorry, my fiance now.
Congratulations.
Thank you. He's got anxiety and he loves building furniture. And, you know, we both have full-time jobs. We work from home and we've got 2 kids. And, you know, so he has to take that time to go down to a shop, get away from everything and just work with his hands. So it's really about finding something that works for you. There's a lot of great things out there.
Oh yeah. Just try it. Keep trying. It's just like life.
Yeah.
Like job is just like life. Try things.
Absolutely.
Try things out. Like books. People love talking about books. I cannot sit down and read a damn book. Like I probably didn't read a book. I didn't read a book in high school. I don't know how the hell I graduated. But like
Cliff Notes.
Yeah.
Cliff Notes is how I graduated.
I don't know. I just got through. But like I love books. I just listen to Audible. You know what I mean? Like there's what I'm trying to make is like there's alternatives. Don't just be like, okay, everyone talks about reading. I can't sit and read. Yeah, neither can I. But you drive, you know, wash the car, mow the lawn, like throw on a book. Like we spend so much time traveling and doing monotonous things that like 20, 30 minutes, you can read like 2 chapters of a book or listen to it. So like the point is try different stuff. Like don't just give up. Having having a fiance with depression or anxiety, you think that's helped? Or like do you think that's helped with the way you deal with things, like them understanding what you're going through?
So I think yes and no. So we are very different in the fact that he will not take anything ever.
Okay.
Like even if he has a headache or like his leg is about to fall off, he's not going to take ibuprofen.
Sure.
So getting to kind of like that medication part was a little difficult just because he's so against it. And, you know, that's a lot of where my influence comes from as well.
Sure.
But I think we've rubbed off on each other. I think I haven't become so dependent. Like I've sought alternatives than just medication itself. And with him, I think he has started meditating and like really going towards that side, which is something he had never tried before. So it really kind of became a good partnership of managing anxiety. And there's definitely some hard times.
Sure. I get that too. Yeah. You can ask my wife. Yeah. It's the same. I get it. Yeah. But she deals with it too. And it's like, but I'd rather have it be like, I'd rather have the good and the bad than just them not understanding it all. Because
100%.
you know what I mean? Like anxiety, if you don't, I mean, anxiety is the term is used, I think, too often. Everyone's like, but everyone has anxiety or deals with it, but some people more than others, where it becomes like a disorder per se.
Yep.
But if you just like explain to someone what you're dealing with, you sound like you're batshit crazy. Like unless
Yes.
someone like, oh, like if I'm anxious, sometimes I feel like I'm gonna pass out. I'm dizzy. Maybe I'm shaking. Maybe I have chest pains. If you explain to someone like, okay, you are having a heart attack. Like there's no
Yeah,
like
like,
that's
go
what
to
you're
the doctor.
describing. It's like, no, I'm good. Because you
Yeah.
like, or like if someone you know is dealing with, they'd be like, hey, they're just going through this. Like it's cool. Like just let them get through it. But like understanding what anxiety is, at least in a nutshell, or have gone through it, it's definitely helpful. And that's like what this whole thing's about. Like we want to create a community of people. Like there's millions of people out there that are suffering from anxiety and depression, and you don't have to suffer alone, and you can help, just talking to someone else about it. Like even just talking to you about this, like it helps me. I'm sure it helps you a little bit too. It's like talking about anxiety helps. It helps if you do.
It does.
Like anything in life, if you don't talk about it, it's going to keep hurting.
Yeah. And it doesn't go away. It gets stuffed down for a little bit, but it's funny too, because your comment about feeling batshit crazy, I think especially for women, like we, like you're always just kind of told like, oh, it's your period, like it's your hormones, like, right. Yeah, you're acting crazy.
Just being a woman. Yeah.
It's just being a woman. And I think that had a lot to do with why I didn't recognize it, because it was just like, well, I'm switching birth controls, or I'm doing this, or, and that it's just a thing that people say. And it took a long time to go, it's not just your hormones.
Yeah, exactly. I think for men, I mean, like, this isn't to one up you, because it's not, it's not because men,
no, not at all.
Men do not talk about this stuff. And like, for me, it's like, oh, you're being a bitch, or you're,
yes.
It's like, and it's just not like that. I mean, you can't, first thing that popped in my head is like, okay, you're going to tell someone that was in the war that they're just being a little baby because they have, PTSD or things like that. Like, no, you're not. Like it doesn't matter how big of a man you are or a woman you are. Like anxiety and mental illness does not have a like filter. Like it's just going to happen to people.
For sure.
Yeah.
And I think that's a huge aspect to understand about mental illness and the way that we are brought up and the way that our parents are brought up. There's a lot of generations out there. There are things you just don't talk about. And especially when you're surrounded by that in your family, it is really hard to learn to talk about it.
Yeah.
But I mean, you have to, something that I say to friends is, it's okay to be selfish. Like 100% selfish doesn't have to mean something negative. It can mean, I put myself there, maybe it's first, maybe it's me too. Maybe it's, something like that, but it's okay to worry about you.
Absolutely. You talked about yoga. You talked about yoga. How long have you been doing that?
So I actually been doing yoga for 11 years.
Wow. It's like right after your mom?
Yep. Right after my mom, which is very ironic because my mom was a yoga instructor when I was growing up. Yes. And I never went. She always invited me and I was like, yeah, okay, whatever, Mom. And then of course, yes. As soon as she passed away, I went to a yoga class. And where I really fell in love with yoga was that being centered. Like whenever you're doing any other type of cardio, your mind can wander. Like you can just let it go and you can think about your tasks lists or, anything that you've
It's a pretty mindless thing. Yeah.
Yeah. But yoga, I mean, the minute you take your mind off of your body, you're falling over. Like, you can't. Yeah. So it does. It literally keeps you grounded. And that became a huge understanding of, just working out and meditation and mindfulness and, all those buzzwords that we use today,
Yeah. when you talk about yoga, so last episode we had on a yoga instructor, and she talked about like
Oh, great.
all the different, was it limbs? Ah, damn it, I don't know. There's the different parts of yoga, right? So there's like
Yes.
the physical
Yes.
practices, there's the breathing,
Yes.
yeah. So like we talked about meditation. Do you do anything like besides, like I know you've talked about like enlightenment on your page. What is
Yes.
enlightenment for people that don't know? Like, what is it?
Yeah. So, and this again is something that varies person to person.
Okay.
For
Yeah.
me, enlightenment was getting through the muck, embracing the suck, and being able to help other people. That was the enlightenment journey for me. It was also being able to understand and just feel this incredible awareness during any situation. Just slowly you find yourself when somebody is upset in the line at a store and they're yelling at the cashier, you find yourself going, man, that really sucks. Like, I hope they're doing okay. Obviously they're unhappy today. Like, you just start to have this empathy and this awareness of, you never know what's going on in someone's life. And, and also the other side of that is not taking everything personally. If somebody cuts me off in traffic, like, it is not a personal attack on me. Like, we don't know what's going on in their life. And yeah, you're absolutely right. Like, that is one of the hardest things.
So hard.
Oh God, it is. Cause it feels like a personal attack, right? And that's the thing that all of our parents told us about bullies growing up. Like, oh, well, they're really the unhappy ones. We're like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, kids beat my ass. Like, what?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah. So it's that is for me what enlightenment.
I love that. It's like almost like you really become like your third eye opens. Like you're more you see more than just through your eyes. Like you feel like a more like an empath, like an was it empath?
Yeah.
Like you're feeling other people. And like I love the point you made about like not judging. Yes, like I've talked about it. I was on Dana Joy's podcast, and she asked me about like something like, what's something we could all do that would help the world. And like the first thing I thought of was like the judging part.
Yes.
And don't get me wrong, like there's natural judgments that happen. Like
for sure.
First thing you're like, okay, the guy's an asshole, this happened. But like it's not voicing it, try to think about it. It's like before you yell at the guy or you make fun of him to the person next to you, like, okay, like you said, like maybe that person is late to work, maybe their wife's pregnant. Like there's so many factors that it could be. And you know what? Yeah. Even if they are an asshole, who cares? Like by telling yourself that it's nothing, it lets you go about your day and it's all good. It's not.
It helps get rid of your anxiety.
Exactly. Like that's what I mean. It's like it's not my problem. We're all. He didn't hit me. We're good. Just keep it moving.
Yeah, I know. My ultimate goal of enlightenment has always been, I want to be that person that whether you're a stranger or somebody I've known for a long time, I want you to feel comfortable walking up to me and saying literally anything. Yeah. Like, hey, my dog died yesterday, or like, it like fucked up stuff too.
Yeah. Oh
like,
yeah.
I want to be able to hear like hey, so I think I'm going to sleep with my boss. Like,
yeah. Right. Yeah. Crazy.
All right. Well, hey, yeah, no judgment. Like, why? And it's just, you're absolutely right. It's the judgment. Like, it's not needed.
No,
we do,
especially in this world we're living in.
Yeah, we do far too much. Like, we spend way too much time voicing our opinions than actually listening.
That's a good point too.
So
easier said than done, but
for sure.
Again, it's all about that. Like. One thing too, like I guarantee, like me and you both still judge people, and we still do these things. Like it's just being it's just being aware. Yeah, it's just being aware of it, right? Like conscious. For me, like enlightenment, it's like just being consciously aware.
Yes.
As much stuff as you can. Like it's not like it's just being conscious to it. It's like okay, I shouldn't have done that. Like all right, next time I'm going to be more keep it to myself. Keep the judgment to myself and not influence someone else. Yeah. Oh yeah, 100%.
It's about this constant like learning and I'm sarcastic as hell. And
Yeah,
so,
same. Yeah.
yeah, that comes off pretty shitty sometimes.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
and like it, but it's that aftermath of, if somebody was like, ow, it's going, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm really sorry. Like, I didn't mean it like that. It's removing your ego from every single situation. It's removing that, oh, this is a personal attack to me. How do I feel about this? It's going, you know what? Let me see how maybe another person would feel about that coming in. And so, yeah, that has really helped my anxiety, is that empathy level.
Perfect. I noticed a lot. You post a lot about being in nature, how much you love it. Can you talk about that a little bit more?
Yeah, absolutely. Not enjoying it so much right now. In Texas,
it's so hot.
It's so hot, and it's just getting hotter. But I going on hikes. The Oregon coast is my special kind of happy place.
Okay.
And really, for me, it's not just the nature part, it's everything. It's the unplugging part.
Yeah.
It's the leaving your cell phone or turning it on silent, take pictures, whatever, but don't answer emails, don't answer texts, don't answer phone calls. Like, take the time that you need to really just get out there and get some sunshine and, just see the beauty. I feel like we, and myself included, we get so stuck behind a screen or looking down that we don't really open up and see, how beautiful the world is sometimes.
I love that. And I think I definitely need to work on that myself too. I think we're so, and especially with like you're running like a business or whatever online, and you feel like you feel like that FOMO almost gets greater. It's like, oh shit, I should be liking this. I should be reposting this. I should be doing that. And you're almost just convincing yourself, like giving yourself a reason to keep doing it.
Yeah. Does that literally posting and all of that, does it give you anxiety? Because I'm the worst.
Yeah, it does. I've come to the realization that, posting is, you feel like this, like you need to do it, right? Because people are relying on you and things like that. But if you were to, something that realization I've had is like, do you really think about what other people are posting every day? Like right now, are you sitting there thinking like, damn, I wish Anxious Ambition posted right now? Like you don't have that. You don't have that thought.
That's a fantastic point. I had never even thought about it.
I just thought about it. It's just like I have like a realization with you. It's like, because you think about it, and then like maybe 2-3 days go by and it's like, well, shit, I'm just not going to post because I've already let them down and things like that. Like I didn't post for a couple of months just because like work, and then depression, you get unmotivated, it happens. But then like I started posting again, like you just pick right back up. Like the people that truly follow you and embrace what your message is are going to understand. And I think that's a huge part of it. And like taking that pressure off of like, it's crazy, but it's so right. You feel anxious about posting.
You feel bad.
Yeah, you feel bad.
Or like just the marketing aspect of, I really do want to grow this business. I want to get more followers. I want to do this because that's how it's done.
Yeah, right.
But, a lot like what you've said, like a lot of us who have small businesses, we also have full-time jobs.
Oh yeah.
Or family life, or,
and if you don't, you're like a trust fund baby. Yeah. Like we all need to pay the bills. Yes.
Yeah. Which, I would love to be that person.
I don't think you do. I don't think you do.
Actually, as soon as I said it, right. Yeah. I was like, actually, no, that
turned like Paris Hilton.
Like
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Dogs and purses and some shit like that. Like,
yep. Exactly. It is definitely hard, but I think like what you said, like, I mean, do you have any tips for like unplugging? Like when you do unplug, like how do you do it? It's crazy that we're even talking about this, like that's that hard, but it is hard.
Yes.
It's hard to unplug.
And I think especially with the global pandemic, a lot of people got used to leaving an office. And that was their unplugging. And now everything's merged. And, one of the things one of the things that I've told quite a few people within my organization, so I'm also a manager at my job as well, and I've told them, like, pick a stop time, like at 5 p.m. I don't care what your stop time is, but at 5 p.m. you close your laptop. Don't worry about work. Like, get up, walk away. You've got to have like that unplug, that those time frames.
Yeah, a boundary.
Yeah, that's exactly it. You've got to have those boundaries. And I've also found that I have never, not once had anybody that I support or work with say, well, sorry, you can't just clue out at, 5 p.m. Sorry, you can't have that boundary.
Yeah.
Like, anytime I've ever said that to somebody, I need that time. The receiving end has always been absolutely, like, you take the time that you need, because the reward is so much greater. Like,
absolutely.
When I'm plugged in, I'm plugged in.
Exactly.
I'm, working for you, but when I'm unplugged, I'm unplugged.
Yeah. I've had that same thing with work. I'm in sales. So I sell a product where, I sell fences. It's like, residential, keep your dogs in, all that type of stuff. Right. But like my work phone's sitting over there and I had to put it on, do not disturb, because people don't stop.
No,
they do not stop. And it's taken me a long time to realize if I don't answer that person, like right now, it's okay. Like,
yes, I
hardly
like, literally
ever do people say like, what the hell, you're ignoring me, blah, blah, blah. Like, these people are probably just getting home from work and now they're just addressing, what they
they're
need
just
to address.
answering emails. Yes.
Exactly right. Instead of me doing it from 6 a.m. till whenever, like, so, and it's become, and like, it's very relief. Like, it's been a relief for me because like business is great. I'm not losing anybody. And like your point of like no one ever having any like rebuttal to it. If they do, fuck them. Like I'm serious. Like, if people
100%, I don't
like,
want to deal with you.
No, I don't. And we don't have to. Like,
nope.
You're not like don't be desperate. Like, if the person that maybe just texted me is so upset that I can't text them back at, whatever it is, 6:30, when most people are eating dinner with their families, so be it.
Yeah.
Like,
well, it's about knowing your own worth too. Like that desperation thing that you're talking about. Like, yes, we're all struggling and we're all getting out there and we need to hustle. But like, if that one person is just, I need you to answer your phone. I need you to do this at 7 p.m. I don't want to work with you.
Yep. And those people slip through the cracks, and you always know, like, and it's just, it's business. Like, I had you just know, it's like, okay, this guy's calling me at 9 p.m. I didn't answer and he was pissed. This is going to be great. You just
right. And there's so many people out there that, they don't deal with the same things that we do. Like, they might not have anxiety. Right. They're always go. And they don't have that empathy level of, maybe not everybody's a robot like me. Like,
yes.
And so
I had this conversation before. It's like, hey, like, I get it. Like, but like when I'm home, I'm home. Like, it don't get me wrong. Like, it's not like I don't answer my phone or anything, but like, if I'm going to disconnect, I'm disconnected. Yes. It's not like it's the middle of the day. It's like right now, like, I honestly, my boss just called. He called me right before this. I missed his call. I called him back, didn't answer, sent him a text like, hey, I'm not going to be available for the next, 2 hours. If you need me, text me. And like, he understands that. But if he didn't understand that, then there'd be a problem. Like, that's absolutely. Surround yourself with people that they understand, whether it's your loved ones, people at work, all that stuff. I mean, I'm glad we got this topic.
Yeah. I was going to say the exact same thing. I think who you surround yourself with is so crucial.
Absolutely.
That was a big part of understanding anxiety as well, was, having those long-standing friendships that had become toxic, or, family members that, because they're your family, you've always just been okay with them being there. And, it got so bad, like, to a point where it was like, you know what? I need to actually walk away from you. Yep. And and be okay with that, like as a person,
Yeah.
understand
Right.
that that's what you need.
And not feel like super bad about it because
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
you're worried about feelings of someone that doesn't really care about yours
exactly. And we do it all the time.
all the
We
time.
do it all the time. You know, we give and give and give, or we take and take and take, but those relationships, they're rarely balanced. They're rarely complementary.
Yeah.
And
It's usually
yeah,
one-sided.
and we get so used. I mean, I've been the person that's on, you know,
Oh yeah.
been the bad selfish friend, and
Sure. Yeah, we all
you
have.
know,
Yeah, we all
yeah,
been the victim
yeah,
of it and done it ourselves.
absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, it really becomes, you know, like talking about it with friends and getting on the same circle of people that understand and appreciate and respect your boundaries, or your cussing like a sailor, or
Sure. Oh yeah,
you know,
exactly.
your no filter, your anything like that. And that's a huge part of it.
Absolutely. And like that, I mean, what we just talked about is a big reason why I do love the internet too, because it allows you to meet these people. Like, you know, we met on Instagram, you know, like all these people that we're interviewing, like, I don't know these people. I mean, actually I do now, but like, yes, like you have your friends that you might hang out with all the time, you know, for entertainment and leisure. Like you can have a group of people online that you could talk to, shoot the shit, and like actually like help each other grow. And like, there's so many people there, and the pages, like, you know, myself and yours, like you can go on that page and someone that likes that post is probably similar to you, you know, like it's exactly it, you know. And like,
absolutely.
if you have a shitty group of friends, or maybe you don't have many friends, like feel free to reach out, like DM us, like DM people. There's people out there that are willing to talk to you and become friends. They're in the same boat you are. Like, wow, I can't believe this person just messaged me. Like, I'm dealing with the same crap you are. And
you know, I know yours is too, but I'm always available. For someone to send me an email, and if you need to talk, like,
absolutely,
I'm there. I'll do it the best I can.
Yes. So I 100% agree with you, but don't
boundaries.
there's absolutely boundaries when it comes to your own mental health too. And like, the thing is, I've had people, like I've had, let's say one person in the past, like message me and, you know, just talking, you know, giving them advice, and then they start getting like real dark, and like, where it comes like, okay, like you need professional help. Like, to me, it's like, I'm here to be your friend. I'm here to be your friend. I'm here to talk to you about it. But like,
absolutely,
I am not a professional. You know, Caitlin's not a psychiatrist. Like, we're not these people.
right.
We will help you as much as we can. But like, and I've told people to like, okay, like, hey, I respect that you're reaching out to me, but like, you really need to get like serious help. Like, and I've sent them like, here's the talk line, the text line. Like, that's okay too. So like, if you're really, really, really struggling, like, don't feel like you can't reach out to us, but like, we'll talk to you about it, but we're not going to be giving you like, okay, hey, go take Prozac or go take this. Like, it's
no. And I think that's a great point to make.
Yeah.
Like, people like you and I are stepping stones.
Yeah.
Like,
right. Exactly.
We're absolutely here to be a sounding board and to help. But I'm also going to be straight up with you. Like, if you're
100%.
contacting me too much, or, you know, I think you need, like you said, seek professional help or something like that, I'll let you know.
Yeah.
So it's really just voicing that. And I think you said it really well.
People need to hear the truth sometimes. Like you said, like, I'm a straight shooter. You are. Like, I mean, like, if you need help, you need, there comes a point, like, obviously, like, it may make me feel like an asshole. I'm sure you've been bitchy, like, you know, like being that person that's just so cutthroat, but it's the truth. Like, I'm a straight shooter. Like, if you don't want to hear it, sorry.
Yeah. And there's definitely a way to like give the truth with grace.
Yes, exactly.
For sure. But at the end of the day, like, I'm never going to be that person that doesn't tell you, especially if you ask.
Right. Exactly. Let's talk about the beads again. So one thing, so like I did do our last collection for Anxious Ambition was the Ride the Wave collection. If you're listening to this, you can actually watch this on YouTube. Just search Anxious Ambition. So like right now I'm going to show the hoodie that we did, it's just like the Ride the Wave hoodie.
Yes.
We did a couple other things, but Ride the Wave, when I think Ride the Wave, I know you've mentioned it too. It's life, it's anxiety, it's depression. It's when you get hit with that, when that wave comes, it's not about, going away from it or, drowning yourself in it, or it's literally hopping on that board, ride that bitch, and like, just ride it out. Like it's part of your life now, and you ride the wave. And if you don't fight it, like you just, you ride it out, it's going to be so much easier, and you're going to learn more about yourself and how you cope. Like it's all about ride the wave. And you made a bracelet that it matches it perfectly. It's so cool.
Yeah. So it's got, and I'll definitely post it on Instagram, but we've got everything that matches on there. And we even did it with some lava stones. So you can throw some essential oils on it, anything that kind of helps. And, I love the Ride the Wave, because the first thing that I thought of whenever I saw that was like, eventually you'll become a surfer. Like, if you just keep riding it, eventually you'll know how to do it. You know?
And you'll fall. And and like it's literally like the more you think about like what Ride the Wave is, it's like you're not like the first time you like, I never surfed because obviously it looks really hard, and just like anxiety and stuff. Like you hop on that board that first 10, 20, 30 times, you're probably not going to ride the wave successfully. And so like you are going to have tough times, but it's going to get easier. And the waves might get bigger, it might be smaller, but like it's just like everything. It's that practice that helps you,
That's a perfect word for it, is practice.
Thank you. So,
and it's every single day.
Absolutely. Yeah. You might get a break. You might get a break. You might, and you might think, hey, I beat this. Yeah, probably not. Yeah, probably not. It's just, so it's just not windy that day. There's no waves or whatever the hell. I don't even know how they work. But
exactly.
The plates aren't shifting or whatever.
Tectonic,
Yeah,
science.
there you go. That's the word. Besides that, can you talk about some like your favorite bracelets you made, and like some of maybe like why you did them?
Yeah, absolutely. So, really one of my all-time favorites is the Shirley bracelet, which is my mother's name. And we donate to suicide awareness with that piece. And my mom was very hippie, earthy, all that kind of stuff. So that's got some really cool funky beads and some turquoise and all that kind of stuff.
Some real hippie shit. That's cool.
Oh yeah.
I like that.
I literally cannot remember a time where patchouli incense wasn't burning in our house.
Really?
Yeah. And I walk by a patchouli candle now and I'm like,
it's a strong smell.
That's strong.
That's strong.
Yeah. But that one I love a lot. The other one is Sabrina. That's a really good one. It's got a little charm of a yoga pose.
Okay.
And that's for one of my best friends. And we haven't been best friends that long. It was really one of those soulmate type situations. Like we met a couple of years ago and it was just instant. And so, her and I have a relationship a lot like what you and I are doing right now. Like we talk about everything. And really try to help the other person and respect and understand, no judgment, any of that.
That's awesome.
So that's another really cool one that I love.
I know you did one for yourself though. So, right.
I did.
Let's talk about that one. So like, what's the message behind that one? Because obviously that's pretty important. Like it's called the Caitlin, right?
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So that one that I made was one of the first ones that I made.
Okay.
It's had a few like iterations.
Yeah.
But I really wanted it to be something that it fashionably goes with anything, but also that's part of the symbolism behind it is it's a lot of whites, tans, like it's just all these things that are made up in every single palette that we see, whether it's nature, whether it's, inside people's faces, color of people's skin, all of that. So it really kind of, I thought it at least had a inclusive kind of unity type vibe to it.
Love that. Yeah, it's a perfect way to put it. I mean, if you're looking for jewelry, like, I mean, check out our website. Like, it's stuff it looks beautiful, and it's like, it's going to make you feel a certain way. Like, if you're going to be like wearing
Yeah,
something,
I hope.
yeah, yeah, yes, exactly. In a good way. Right.
Yeah.
You donate to a couple of different organizations, right? Can you talk about a couple of those?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of which is suicide awareness, which
Okay.
I mentioned.
Yeah.
Another one is breast cancer runs in my family. So we've got an Elaine bracelet that is my aunt,
Mhm.
and we donate to breast cancer awareness.
That's awesome.
Another big one is I've got a friend whose little girl was born with a hole in her heart.
Okay.
And she's had quite a few different
Wow.
open heart surgeries. She's 4 years old.
Jeez.
But the 100% of the proceeds go to that family,
Wow. Good
which
for you.
is awesome.
Yeah, I'm
So
sure that feels good.
it helps them a lot, and I get a joy out of making each one of those bracelets, because they're called the Lola, and somebody out there sporting a Lola.
Yeah.
So
I love
those
that.
are awesome.
Yeah, it's just the meaning behind it. Like, yeah, I just
Well,
love
thank
that there's a
you.
message, right? Truthfully, like, there's so much garbage out there that people are wearing, like whether it's like clothes or accessories. Like, we're gonna buy these things, buy something that makes you feel a certain way, that makes you help someone else. Like, even, I mean, this might sound weird, but even like a watch, like I wear a watch, like when I put this on every day, it makes you feel a certain way. Like, if you can
Yeah,
pop on a
absolutely.
bracelet, like, if there's things in life that we can control, and maybe help tweak how we feel, like whether it's throwing on that song that makes you feel good. Maybe it's like, oh, hey, like I need to feel enlightened today. Let me throw on my enlightened bracelet. Like, let's keep it moving, throw on some essential oils. Like, I love how versatile it is. Like, not only is it, great art, but has a purpose behind it.
Well, thank you.
No,
And
no
I,
problem.
right back at you for
Thank
all
you.
of the hoodies and t-shirts and stuff. I
Thank you.
I can't wait to get mine in the mail either. So
Thank you.
it's you're absolutely right. It's about awareness and that being present. I think we forget to do that a lot.
Mhm.
And it's whether it's your watch, a ring, anything, just taking that moment every day when you put it on to go, I appreciate this, or this is going to boost my
Yeah.
self-esteem today, or it's just taking that moment to be present and aware.
Yeah, you just made me really think hard about that, because the like, I have a hard time being present. Like, once I start going, I'm going. And I think we all do it. It's a hard
We
thing
all
to
do.
do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
But it's like those little things, like you said, like the ritualistic, like I don't make, some people like make coffee every day, or like they have like these rituals that they really love to do. And maybe it is just, like slip it, like for me, like I know, like, okay, once my watch is on, like, okay, it's good to go. Like, we're going to work.
Yeah,
Or like you put that ring on, I mean, like, you got engaged. Like, when you see that ring, it, it means a lot.
yeah,
Like, it's not just a ring anymore, like
right.
we should all kind of have some type of moment during the day where we can be present, even if it's small. Like, even that small moment, for me, like in the morning when I'm getting ready, and it's like, okay, we got all of our stuff for the day, we got our wallet, and we put on a watch, and we go out for the day. But like, that small moment, so lets you be present before you get into the craziness of the day.
Yeah,
Enjoy that
absolutely.
silence.
And it's a constant, like we talked about in the beginning, it is a relentless reminder, because
Mm-hmm.
everything I do, there's always, those moments when you're just too busy, or you're texting or doing something, and your kid is like, hey, look at me, look at me, look at me. And after those moments, I'm always like, man, I should have put down my phone and just been in the moment with them.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's, times 100 every day.
Of course. Of course.
And then, the hope is just that you'll do it differently tomorrow.
Exactly. I have a couple more questions for you. Just getting to like final
Yeah.
questions. So, well, one thing we talked about books. Is there a book that, someone, you're talking to someone like the book that you recommend the most, like what's your most recommended book to people?
I think my most recommended, I think it kind of depends on what you're in the mood for. So,
Yeah.
if you're in the mood for like raunch, just straight up don't give a shit, any of Chelsea Handler's books,
And I can only imagine.
are my absolute favorite, just because she's so out there.
Oh yeah.
But when it comes to more like self-awareness, like you're really looking to kind of grow, get that enlightenment. One of my favorites right now is Untamed by Glennon Doyle. And it just goes all in, super deep about understanding yourself, how it affects other people, and to also just not give a shit anymore about how it affects other people, to really find that balance of this is what I need to do for me.
Yeah. Making yourself a priority.
Yeah. But she says it like in a really funny way. I feel like at the end of every chapter, whoa, like that was great.
Those are those are the books I like to read too. It's like, it's got like the Chelsea Handler and like things like that. Like I gotta feel the personality behind it. Like there's some books that people like love. Like, I don't know if you listen to like read Think and Grow Rich. Everyone. Okay. So amazing book. It's all about like manifestation, law of attraction, but I'm pretty sure it was written in like 1920. It is brutal. Like they're talking about how like this guy manifested making 13 cents an hour. And like, if you just started picking up and reading it, like, what is this? But like, it's so dry and hard to read. Like I like books like they have an author that's making it. It's not just like a nonfiction textbook.
Legit how I felt about every book in high school. Like I get that they're classics. I really do. But I don't give a shit what The Great Gatsby did.
No. Oh my God, those books are so brutal.
Yes. They're so, but
Scarlet Letter.
Oh God. I
remember them. Brutal.
Yeah.
Those are some great recommendations. The Chelsea Handler one.
Yeah.
Did you listen to those or did you read them?
No, so I read those, but I will preface this by saying it takes me like a solid year to read a full book. So I'm not a fast reader, and I'm usually about 5 years behind kind of the cool thing.
Whatever.
But those I also reread books.
Okay.
Like if I know I loved it and it's been a couple of years and I haven't found a new one, I'll go back, and because your life changes and all of a sudden a passage means something totally different to where I am in this moment.
Absolutely.
So that's a big recommendation is reread books at different parts in your life.
Yeah, we change. We do change and we morph, which I thought was a really cool point. You mentioned that your bracelet changes. And I was thinking like, hey, you're probably, you're in a different season. You're might be in a different mood. Like, hey, I don't like browns anymore. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, life is full of seasons. Yeah.
And so, I every so often, like when there's a big kind of milestone in a friend's life, or something, and I just kind of feel like their old bracelet isn't working anymore, I'll create a new one. And that's, just like you said, it's just to symbolize that you don't have to stay the same forever.
Absolutely. So, okay, I got 2 more questions for you. So
shoot.
Let's go back. These ones are a little more serious. So let's go back, I think 3-4 years ago when the anxiety first started hitting, right? If you can go back and, go back in time and talk to yourself, give yourself some advice, what would you tell yourself?
Well, I think that's a great question. I was in a really shitty relationship. And I think that I would tell myself to get the hell out. But B, to not feel so bad about it, like to not try to make it work. And obviously a lot of history goes into that, but I had moved to another city to be with this person. And so there was just this pressure of, okay, I picked up my entire life. I dropped everything. I need to make it work. As opposed to listening to myself and really understanding my own instincts and they were screaming, get out. You're not happy.
Mhm.
So yeah, I think for
Some great
myself
advice.
back then, it would be listen.
Yeah. Listen to yourself.
Yeah, trust yourself.
Yeah.
You know, that we have those gut feelings. There's a reason they're called that, because
Yeah,
we have those.
absolutely. Great answer. So before we get to our last question, how can people find you?
Yeah, so Instagram, you can find me on there. Although I am not the greatest about posting.
Yeah, but when you do, but
but
when you do, it's good. Like it doesn't, like why,
oh, well, thank you.
why post 5 shitty things? And not saying you are, but like why force stuff?
Yeah, I'm not
You
a
know?
good small talker. And so I'm not a good small poster is what I call it. Like I am not a good like filler
Yeah,
person. Like I
I'm
gotta have some shit that has gone on that I need to talk about.
totally get that.
So yeah, Instagram is totally fine. Email contact at deservingbeats.com. There's also a contact me on the website, which is deservingbeats.com. Yeah,
Awesome. So
any of
everything's
that.
deserving beads, right? Everything.
It is.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you'll find it. If you look up deserving beads, Google,
I think it's one of the
Instagram, you're
only
gonna find it.
ones that has those two things together. So
Just kind of surprising, to be honest. You
right.
got lucky.
That's
Everything's
yeah.
taken. Everything.
Everything.
Yeah. Actually, question: Did you have any other names in mind for deserving beads, or was like that your first choice, or like how did you?
Yeah. So really, that was my first choice. I mean, I kind of
it's perfectly fitting. So
went back and forth, and it's funny that you say that, because one thing I've always said to friends, like when they're having that moment of, I feel really bad, but I need to do this. I'm like, you're awesome. You deserve this.
Yeah.
Like, do it. And so when I was thinking about, all the different things I could name a business, I was like, fuck it. Like, people deserve, if you want to buy yourself a bracelet, buy it.
Yep.
Like you deserve that. So yeah, it was one of those things that just kind of naturally happened.
It's perfect. Yeah. You picked the right name. It's perfect.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah. I mean, it's fitting. I mean, you deserve it. Like the message behind it, everything it's super fitting. Here's our last question.
Okay.
How do you want to be remembered?
Ooh, that's a great one. I think I'll just echo what I said previously. Is I want to be remembered as somebody that you could walk up to and tell anything. Hey, I just murdered somebody. I need some help. Like, okay, I might ask some questions.
Yeah.
But like, my initial thing is not going to be like, oh my God.
Sure. Like you're super like really approachable. Like,
yeah.
Absolutely.
I think, I just want to impart some wisdom on the world, and if I can help just one person understand anything about themselves and any type of mental illness that they're struggling with, I think that would be a hell of a way to be remembered.
We already did that, I'm sure. I mean, me and you talked about it. You definitely helped me today. I mean,
right back at you. I think,
thank you.
I've been struggling. I've been less than relentless with my care. This week things get busy, and this forced me to meet it head on, and so it helped me a ton as well. So
good. That's the whole point, and that's kind of the whole point of this show and page and everything. It's like just talking to someone that understands what you're going through, even if it's just a little snippet of it, and talking about your anxieties and your depressions and your struggles is how you need to talk about it.
Don't leave it bottled up.
No, because it's going to hurt. And like, even like this morning, like I said, I had a breakdown, and it was like, okay, why? Why? Like, because I haven't had time to think about why this is happening. And it's so like, if you're struggling right now, take some time for yourself. Think about what changes you've made recently. Think about who you can reach out to, whether it's, a friend, family member, parent, therapist, anyone. Like, there's someone out there that could talk to you. DM me. I don't care. As long as this doesn't get too crazy, we could talk about it. Like, I just can't give you, medical advice, but we can talk.
Yeah.
I'll listen.
Yep.
I think that's important too. Like some people, another thing, this is completely just ADHD kicking in. If someone's coming to you and talking about their anxiety, also don't feel like you have to give them advice.
That's a great point.
Because, and I think, and truthfully, like just in my life with me and my wife, is like, we've come to learn that like, hey, I could tell her like, hey, I'm feeling anxious. She might offer once, like, hey, is there anything I can do? And at that point, no, it's done. Like, it just let me be, let the person be. Like, someone isn't always looking for advice. Sometimes they're just trying to like, just vent on what's going on. So.
No, that's a great point.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, it's tough.
It is.
Like and honestly, being a man, and I mean, you're a mom, you're always looking to help. And like, you're trying to come up with a solution, and that's not always what someone wants. They just want you to listen. They just want to like word vomit, whether they're sending you a giant text. Like, don't just instantly try to give them help. Like, oh, well, did you try this? It's like, dude, like I reached out to you because I'm depressed or something. Like, I don't need you to tell me to go for a walk.
Right.
Like, so that's just some other advice.
No, I totally agree on that. And I think any type of relationship, whether it's a significant other or friendship or family, something that my friends and my family, we all practice is, when you are coming to somebody, do you want me to fix it or do you want me to listen? Like, I just need to know going into it.
It's a great way to do it.
And it just really helps set those expectations. Like, I need you to listen. Cool. I'm going to sit back.
Yep.
So it can be as simple as that sometimes.
Absolutely. And it might this just goes even just like not even anxiety. Like, if someone comes, if I come home from work and I've had a hard day and I'm talking about it, obviously my wife can't help me in the sense that like, she just, like she might be speaking in jargon about work and like, but like, I'm just trying to vent it out. I'm really not trying to get advice from it. Like, and same goes for her. Like, she works in insurance. I don't know shit about it. Like, but when she's going and going, like I can tell, hey, she's upset about it. It's like, it's the same thing. So, we could talk for hours, and I hope we can do this again. I just want to thank you.
I would absolutely love to. So.
Awesome. Yeah, this has been great. I really, you really are like how you want to be remembered. Like, this is how this went. Like, I feel like I could talk to you about anything. And I think that's,
that's so wonderful to hear. Right back at you.
Well, thank you. And I think that's my goal too, to be honest with you. Like, I want people to be able to just talk to me. And like, one of the reasons why I made this show is because for some weird reason, random people will tell me way too much shit. Like you go to a party. Yeah. And I'm sure you realize that too. It's like, you go to a party and like, you meet your best friend's cousin or something, and he's like telling you his whole life, and now you're best friends. And it's like, why did you tell me all that? And it's like, some people like, dude, I don't know how to help you, but like, I feel like we're that type of people. And like, I can agree with you that you're very approachable. So thank you again for being on the show. And
thanks so much.
Again,
Justin.
Everyone needs to check out Deserving Beads on Instagram. It's not just about the art. Check out, read some of her captions, and hopefully she'll get to posting more. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's only gonna help the business and help more people.
That's right.
So.
That's right. I'm gonna try.
Hey, it's all about trying.
That's right.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Anxious Ambition podcast. You can find us on all podcast platforms. Follow us on Instagram at Anxious Ambition. You can actually watch this podcast over on YouTube. Lastly, check out our website, anxiousambition.com, where we have all of our merch, and a portion of every sale is donated to NAMI, and it helps support the individuals and their families who are suffering from mental illness. Thanks again for listening, and until next time, take it easy.
Anxious ambition.